Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Wednesday, the 8th of February, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1. It was a decent day on the local market with the S&P ASX 200 finishing up 0.35% to 7,530 points. The banks all did well on the back of Suncorp's result. More of that in a moment. The iron ore and energy groups were higher while the retailers were mixed. In corporate news, Agribusiness Elders said it has no knowledge of why its share price has fallen so sharply in recent sessions. It presented to 2 institutional shareholders yesterday, and since then its share price has come off about 8%, which I've got to say is not quite what you hope for when you present to large shareholders. Anyway, it's happened, and Gina Rinehart's Hancock Prospecting has won the battle for Warrego Energy, beating off Strike Energy. In the bond market, yields kept climbing today and are more than 20 basis points higher in the past few sessions. That reflects expectations of higher interest rates, of course, but it also provides a more attractive option for investors looking for a safe investment. So there certainly is a silver lining in that story. Story number 2, up to 4 million Australians are estimated to have been infected with COVID-19 since late last year. Health Minister Mark Butler made the comment as the government announced that all adults, no matter how many doses they've already received, are eligible for a vaccine top-up from February 20. So go out there and get a jab. Story number 3, Suncorp has outlined stronger lending in its banking business and a jump in house and car insurance premiums, underpinning a rise in profit and revenue. It was a strong result for the Queensland-based business, which includes a 63% rise in cash profit, and its share price jumped 4.5% today to $13.04. Now, Suncorp also upped its dividend, which should satisfy shareholders. The result came despite higher inflation and interest rates and the impact of 8 natural hazard events, largely due to La Nina. Boss Steve Johnston said the company was on track to sell its banking arm to ANZ for about $4 billion. The insurance business, which owns brands like Amy and Arpia, more than doubled earnings, partly because house insurance premiums were up 11% on average, and average car insurance premiums were nearly 9% higher. Story number 4, building materials group Boral was another one to report yesterday. Of course, it's 73% owned by Western Australian billionaire Kerry Stokes. It delivered a solid half-year result, but its share price was up 13%. Boral owns 215 concrete plants and 32 quarries and about 3,000 vehicles that supply concrete, gravel and asphalt. It's had a takeover battle, which Mr. Stokes won, and 3 CEOs in as many years. It's had to offload its US fly ash business, which was a failure, and it's leveraged to the building sector, which post-COVID hasn't had a great time. But its share price is still up 36% this year. Investors like the turnaround plan of new CEO Vic Bansal, and they like the fact that Bansal says the 9 interest rate hikes over the past 9 months haven't yet crimped demand, and that's allowed Boral to up its prices. Hence, the share price surged today. And finally, story number 5, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has stuck to his mantra that interest rates need to keep rising to quash inflation. Speaking in Washington overnight, Powell suggested that borrowing costs may reach a higher peak than traders and policy makers anticipate. The comments from the world's most powerful central banker were heard by markets and bonds were sold off. But US equities surged because Powell also said the disinflationary process has begun, and it's begun in the goods sector. But he added, there's still a long way to go. The comments suggest the 5% interest rate peak forecast by officials in December might prove a little optimistic. Also today, President Joe Biden gave his State of the Union address with a focus on domestic issues, saying the US economy wasn't quite out of the woods yet. That's it for the afternoon report for Wednesday, the 8th of February, 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.